Hello, and welcome to Roly Poly Weight Loss. I'm your host, Roly Poly, and welcome to day 19. So, today is Monday, so it is a weigh-in day. So let's see how that is going. $271.2. So that's back up a bit, which honestly I expected. This is graduation season, and I've gone to a couple, and I've been traveling, and I know I haven't gotten my exercise, and my eating has been more out. So I was expecting to go up. It's still a little disappointing, but again, not unexpected. And I'm sure now that I'm back in my routine, that will be fixed. So yeah, all right. Okay, so today is going to be a little different. So far, when talking about exercising, I've been pretty focused on cardio, and I've been doing my cardio while we talked. But today, I'm going to dip a toe into the waters of strength training. Now, there are a lot of exercises, and honestly, the choice is a little overwhelming. Thinking back to PE, what comes to mind for me is things like push-ups, which I could never do, jumping jacks, which hurt my knees and feet, and like doing circuits of the gym machines, which I had no idea how to use, and I never put any weights on. Like, I would put the very first one, or I would just leave it in the little bar on top. Because as I mentioned before, I was super intimidated and had no idea what I was doing. And our teacher was working with like 30 kids. She didn't have time to like actually teach me how to use stuff. So that's mostly what I think of when it comes to strength training. But there are a lot of home exercises that you can do with no equipment. All you need is your own body weight and sometimes a chair. You can also add something simple like dumbbells or ankle weights to these. And as I mentioned before, you can get alternative dumbbells in the form of cans from your pantry. So literally no equipment needed to buy. But if you want, you can get dumbbells. And there are, of course, a few other simple home equipment pieces like resistance bands or a medicine ball, but I will get to those in the future. Today is just body weight, chair, and adding dumbbells or ankle weights if you want. So with that out of the way, before we talk about what to do, let's talk about how to do it. So, Very Well Fit has this to say about beginning strength training. Beginners who start to work out can expect to enjoy a wide range of benefits. If you are completely new to exercise, low-intensity activity sessions will help you burn more calories. And if you don't compensate by eating more, the pounds will start to fall off. But these workouts have a more important function as well. So you may have heard of things like high-intensity interval training, and we don't need to do that yet. It doesn't have to be high intensity to help. Low intensity is just fine for now. And Very Well Fit lists these benefits to starting this training. Boost self-confidence, establish a healthy daily routine, develop strong, tight muscles, improve your sleep, decrease your stress level, and burn more calories and lose weight. Well, I'm sold. Let's do it. Now, there are many ways to exercise at home, including a lot of cardio, like dancing, but we're going to start with body weight and chair strength training. Okay, but from what I remember in PE, you had to do sets and circuits and reps, and how do you even know where to start and how much to do? So first off, we turn to dummies before a refresher course on those terms. Repetition, is one complete motion of an exercise. Boop. A set is a group of consecutive repetitions. 2, 3. For example, you can say, I did 2 sets of 10 reps on the chest press. This means that you did 10 consecutive chest presses rested, and then did another 10 chest presses. So that rest in the middle is important, not for like an hour or even like 5 minutes, but for like 30 seconds to a minute, yeah, rest. They recommend 8 to 12 reps per set, though 10 to 12 seems to be the real sweet spot. This also comes with a warning though. Doing dozens of reps with ultralight weights you can barely even feel, doesn't bring good results of any kind because you're not stressing your muscles enough. Which sounds exactly like what I did in PE in high school, because I didn't know any better. So then the question is, how do you know how much weight to use, especially if you're using body weight or something like that? Well, again, they explain. No matter how many repetitions you do, always use a heavy enough weight so that the last rep is a struggle, but not such a struggle that you compromise good form. After about a month of strength training, you may want to go to muscular failure. That is, your last repetition is so difficult that you can't squeeze out one more. Now that sounds a little intimidating, but again, that's a month in. We're starting with just a struggle, but not too big of a struggle so that you can't do it correctly. Okay, and you'll probably want to spend your first exercise session figuring out those amounts for yourself. How many reps at what level should I do to get the right burn? Write this down so you know what to do the next time, and you'll quickly streamline your process. Now, they also say that you can mix this up with light days and heavy days, and they note that people vary from day to day in how much they can do, so be flexible. Plus, different body parts and even different moves on the same part can require different weights to get the right amount of burn. So that's why you'll want that day to figure things out. And that's why when it is time to get a set of dumbbells, I recommend getting more than one pair. Amazon offers this great set of 3 to get you started. That's what I have. They are 2 pounds, 3 pounds, and 5 pounds each. And in the long run, there are also larger sets, and you can order individual weights as you need more numbers. So like if you need something like between a 3 and a 5, you can order a 4. If you then want to go up to 6, but you're not ready to commit to a full like 6 through 15 or 6 through 10 pack, you can just get the 6, that kind of thing. So hopefully you'll get stronger and stronger and need those heavier weights. Now, Dummies also covers sets, explaining, several studies show that doing 1 set per muscle builds just as much strength as doing 3 sets per muscle, at least for the first 3 or 4 months of training. If you're a novice or if you're starting again after a layoff, begin with 1 set of 10 to 12 repetitions and make sure your last rep feels challenging. You should feel like you have control of the weight, but if you did 1 more rep, you may not be able to make it all the way. So you don't want to like be dropping things or like falling over at the end, but you feel like if you did it more, you would. And as you improve, you can bump up to 2 or 3 sets. And that's all most people need, though hardcore bodybuilders will do like 10 or 12 sets. Now, that said, what do you actually do for those reps and sets? Well, Livestrong asked experts to list beginner exercises, and they came up with 6 sample workouts, and there was quite a bit of overlap. So more importantly, looking at the different plans can give you a feel for the layout you should follow. Most of these followed a circuit pattern where you do 1 group of exercises, then another, and flip or circle between the circuits. If you can do like 3 or 4 circuits, so you can do a circle. So for example, you might do a circuit of 4 exercises and then a minute of jumping jacks, and then those 4 exercises again. Or you might switch between 2 circuits of 3 exercises. So you'll do ABC and then DEF and then ABC and then DEF. Or you might, that kind of thing. Others just give you a list of things to work down. Just go 1, 2, 3, 4, If you find yourself struggling to keep track of a circuit, maybe just try going down a list. On the other hand, if doing the same thing over and over again is boring or hard, if you don't want to just keep working your arms, then maybe break it into smaller chunks and circuit them so you're mixing it up. I personally take so long to get into a position to make sure I'm doing it right that I'm much more the let's just do this one and then do the next one type than the hey, do one here, one there, one here, one there, because I'm not great at cycling between them yet. Now, there are all kinds of articles about how to focus on different areas of the body and all kinds of workouts that target a specific area, like arms or even a specific muscle group. But for the beginner, it is totally fine to just be like, I'm going to get a general workout with exercises that target different areas of my body or a whole body workout type thing. You don't need to know every glute exercise in existence. So, that all established. Let's look at some of these exercises. So I want to start with push-ups because that is my arch nemesis and the one that I think everyone dreads or should dread. Now, during the very brief time that I had a personal trainer, they gave me a super helpful piece of advice, which I am now seeing in more and more places, but which was mind-blowing to me when I first heard it several years ago. And small detour to say, if nowhere else, this is a good place to splurge. If you can book just one appointment with a personal trainer, get them to give you a customized workout list and have them help show you proper form for these things, which I can guarantee I won't always get right in these videos. But you can always refresh yourself online, but there are literally thousands of exercises you can do, and a personal trainer will have a better idea of what you can do with your specific weight and distribution and limitations and goals and such. So if you can, splurging there on getting a suggested list is a great idea. Okay, tangent over. So, push-ups. This mind-blowing advice was to not go all the way to the floor. These are called incline push-ups. So kitchen counters are great for this, or stair railings, or banisters. If they're across a flat piece of floor, you don't want to be on the uneven stairs. And in a pinch, a chair will do, though it's lower than I like, or a wall, though you are more upright than I like. So I'll demo with the chair. So instead of needing your entire body weight to be supported on your hands like you would be on the floor, by being more upright, more of your weight is on your feet, and you don't have to lift as much with your hands. And as you get stronger, you can get further and further down until you're flat on the floor. So neither of these chairs is ideal. This one has a good width to it, not quite as wide as I'd like, but it is wider to push on. But for me, it's way too low. You have to bend very far over from a standing position. So I'm going to show you this one. This is a much better height to do a push-up from, here. But as you can see, because it's got this rounded back, it's not great from a getting my hands on perspective. But I'm going to do my best. So you want to get your positioning best you can, and then take your feet back, and then best as you can. Now, you have to watch your posture, just like with a regular push-up, because you don't want to be arching your back or sticking your bum up into a V. But I found this is a great way for me to do push-ups. And see what you have around your house and test different heights to find the best one for you. In their article on incline push-ups, Very Well Fit notes that the most common mistake is putting your hands too far apart. But, as I've shown, you have to watch out when you're using found things around your home that you don't have to put them too close together or in a weird position because of the thing you're using, okay? They should always be just slightly wider than shoulder width, okay? And another special note is that if you're using something that moves like a chair, make sure that it's pushed all the way against the wall and can't slide out from under you. That's why I can't use this one right now, because it will just slide instead of me actually pushing up. So you want to make sure it's pushed up against something solid. Okay? So closely associated with push-ups are planks. Now, I don't know about you, but these always hurt my forearms and elbows. But it turns out that you don't just have to do forearm planks. There are also high planks, which are basically the highest point of a push-up. So Self has a great article with GIFs of different plank variations. I found this a little intimidating because most of them are pretty hardcore, like skipping your hands or shuffling your feet or things like that. But once you get the hang of the basic one, you can experiment with some of the others. And some of them are easier or require you to be in a high plank instead of a forearm plank. So if you find that your wrists are stronger than your forearms and elbows, you might think about swapping out a high plank for a forearm one. So that looks, basically, instead of planking like this, which for me puts a lot of pressure on my elbows, you can start here in your high push-up position, and then you can do the plank like this, okay? And then you can switch to the fancy ones. So again, posture is important. Same as the push-up. You want to make sure you're not arching or curling your back. And then just know that you are putting pressure on those wrists, okay, instead of your elbows and forearms. Okay? Okay. The next one I want to talk about is lunges. There are literally dozens of ways to lunge, I have discovered, and you can really mix and match. The only thing with lunging is that ideally you want to be creating 90-degree angles with your knees, and you don't want to be skewing your hips, or again, arching in weird ways. Now, for me, I find that the 90-degree thing is almost impossible at this point. So I will show you. I can get semi-close up here with creating a 90-degree here. I'm not able to lower myself enough to get the full 90. But if you look at pictures of people lunging correctly, their back leg is almost touching the floor. I mean, literally they're about an inch off the floor. And this leg is also a 90 degree. That's what I will not be doing anytime soon. So the one I really like is a lunge circle. So with each leg in turn, you do a forward lunge, and then you go in a circle clockwise or counterclockwise, whichever you prefer. So you go diagonal, you go to the side, you go the other diagonal, you go back, diagonal, and then now for the crossover, I like going back and front, just to mix it up. And then your last diagonal, and then forward again. Okay? Then you switch legs. Do the same on this side. Boop, 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 boop. Okay? And of course, you can do any of these lunges as its own set, or just pick two that are opposite of each other and switch between them. So like you can do the back diagonal and the forward diagonal, that kind of thing. But it doesn't just have to be standing still and lunging forward over and over and over again, or doing those walking lunges. You can mix it up. And Greatest actually has a short list of 32 ways to exercise with lunges. So there are lots of ideas. So next is something that I dread almost as much as push-ups, and that is squats. But again, a chair can come to your rescue. Very Well Fit has a great article on alternative squats, and the first one is the chair squat. So you put your feet shoulder length apart, and then you slowly sink down until you're sitting in the chair, okay? And then you slowly get back up, okay? You don't use your hands. That's why you're engaging your core. So you... And when you've got that down, then you squat until you're just above the chair, but don't sit down. Just hover and hold before going back up. I have not mastered that one yet, as you can tell. But that's the next step to doing it more like a traditional squat. But when you're doing it just sitting down, you're still working a lot of those same muscles, just not quite as hard as if you didn't sit down. Now, they do have an important note on form here. So you want to send the hips back while keeping the head up and the torso straight. And you can extend the arms if that helps with balance. So, I'm fairly positive my form is bad. So the idea is to send the hips back while keeping the back straight and the head up. Oh, and again, I can't hold. So, but the idea is don't arch your back or curl your back when doing this. Try to keep it straight and your head up. If you're down for laying on the ground, then a side leg raise is recommended by Livestrong's trainers. Okay, you lie on one side. You put your hand on your hip, and then you lift your top leg up and then bring it down just over the other one. And then again, if you need to, you can actually touch down between lifts. Now, I'm doing it wrong so you can see me. You actually want to put your head all the way down here on your other arm, and then you feel the burn pretty quickly. Now this is one, though, that I've noticed with myself, where I can tend to speed up and get sloppy. Okay? And then this is like when they talked about having too light of weights, okay, and it not working as well. If you're relying on momentum instead of actually doing the lift and holding it, oh, that burns. And then coming back down. And you can touch down between if you need to. Okay? So, when I say watch your form on this one, it's more about your rate of lifting and doing it. If you're going for that momentum, you're not helping, and you might be hurting, actually. One more move from the Livestrong lists is a glute bridge. This one was actually the one that intimidated me the most from these lists, but Shape has a great article with GIFs on how to do it right. Oh. So first, you lay on your back, and you bring your knees up with your feet hip width apart, and then you just push off up like this, and you can see where my neck is like scooching on the ground. My neck is being kind of driven into the ground. That's what I didn't like about these. But Shape's article has great advice. So, root down into feet, keeping them stacked below knees. Lift hips up. Draw ribs down and in toward mat. If you can see ribs jutting out when you look down, draw upper back further into the mat until they disappear. Shoulder blades remain on mat, relaxing shoulders away from ears. Lower hips down to ground slowly. Maintaining control until seat touches floor. Then use seat muscles to lift back up to starting position, making sure upper back stays in contact with the mat as you lift.
So the important part is that your shoulder blades are still on the ground, and you're just using more of your abs and legs to move up instead of like popping up on your shoulders. And then this takes the pressure away from your neck. It's not pushing into the ground because your shoulder blades are acting like a buffer. And that made me feel so much better. Finally, I want to mention step-ups. This is literally just stepping up onto something, like a low crate or even just an actual stair step. The curb outside can be great for this too. Now, this one can have a little more impact, but you control how hard you are hitting the step, okay, and going back down. And you can also put a little bounce into it if you've got music going or something with your step-ups. So beware of something that's a little too tall for you. You don't want to start with like one of those giant boxes that they have at the gym that people jump onto. We are not at that stage. Literally just a simple curb or stairs is all you need. Unfortunately, my stairs can't move over here. So I can't really demonstrate that one, but I'll put a picture. Now, you can use these exercises to build your own starter routine for weight training. You can also check out the Livestrong article for more ideas for circuiting them. This has been Roly Poly Weight Loss. As always, I am your host, Roly Poly. Please share your simple body weight exercises with the hashtag strength training. And then next time we will get into some more exercises that you can do. And this is where we're going to break out the dumbbells. Yay! So please join me next time.